Today we're going to be playing some Nilfgaard constructs. Now this is one that got a little bit of a buff in the last patch, so I thought we'd try it out. The big thing, well not the big thing, the thing it got was the Imperial Golem went to 13 power instead of 12. Imperial Golem's not an amazing play, right, because usually it takes about 4 to 5 damage, and if it's like a 9 or 8 for 6, that's not really good, but it is buffing up the effects of all of your other constructs, which is what we're going to take advantage of and why we're going to play it in here. So it's just like a nice little 1 power buff that makes it not as bad. For the rest of the deck, we are playing Tactical Decision. This gives us a big tempo play. We're playing an Erendite deck. I think Erendite works really well with Nilfgaard constructs because what you end up doing is what you won't end up doing a lot of times. You end up playing constructs early, like Living Armor, the Imperial Golem, the ones that aren't as desirable later on, to buff up the effects of the other constructs. And when you're playing gold cards early like that, it works really well with Erendite. So, Tactical Decision, Magic Lamp. And then the Tactical Decision also works really well with Erendite because you get big tempo play off of it. If you're playing Lamp, you could play something else. We have no engines to protect in this deck, so it doesn't matter for advantage versus Skull. So we opt to not go tall by playing the Djinn instead. The other option would be, of course, you could play Collar if you want that little bit of control. But this deck plays a ton of control cards already, and I thought it was a bit unnecessary and not as good value. So we have Oneiromancy. We're playing a Heat Wave. We're playing Erendite, like I mentioned already. This deck really loves the Erendite. You can usually get it going pretty easily. Then we have the Living Armor. Living Armor is one you can cut if you don't want to go for the big high rolly constructs. Like in an ideal situation, we're going to get like a 7 power on our big guy, the 7 damage to 3 adjacents on the Colossal, or like 11 damage on Enraged. So it pays up really high. We might not actually need this, but we're going to play it to get as much value of the constructs as possible just because it's kind of fun. But you can certainly swap this out for something else. Same thing kind of goes with the Golem, although we definitely want to try him since he got a little bit of a buff. Then the Colossal, this is your payoff card. Real quick here, since we are playing a deck based on him, let's just do the Transmute. So, usually this is your finisher in a round where the opponent has several units. You play this, usually you can hit 3 guys for at least 5 power, 20 point play. That's really big. Then we have the Enraged Ifrit. Transmute him too, because why not? So, he's actually not bad early on. You can answer engines with him. The 5 damage is pretty good. Even if they play just like, say you're playing a Eeyore deck, you just kill the first Fallen Knight with this, it's okay. But he's pretty good. And then later on, when you get this up to 10 or 12 damage, it's just playing for value at that point, plus removal. Then the Primordial one. Now this is same thing here. This one here is more of our one of our only point slammy cards. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But this guy actually can get pretty big. Like you can play this guy for like 13 or 14 pretty consistently, which isn't too bad actually. But usually you want to play him. You won't actually save this guy against mashups where you're not going to get full value from your removal. So like say your opponent's playing some kind of heavy control deck, maybe like bombs. They're not playing anything that's big. Your Colossal Enraged Ifrit won't get value, so maybe you want to save the Dow for your final play. We are playing the Snowdrop just to combo with the leader ability here. Not too surprising. Asira is in here. What we want to do with her, as we transmute everything in this deck apparently, is we're going to use her to shuffle back one of our constructs. So what usually ends up happening is you play, like usually what happens to me, is we play Enraged Ifrit early to remove something. Say they play, I don't know, use this early to remove an engine. Round 2 you shuffle it back, round 3 you play it with really big value. You can also, if you're in a rough spot, play Colossal early, shuffle him back, get him later, which is what Oneiromancy is great for. If you don't draw your card round 3, so you shuffle back Colossal, don't see him, the Oneiromancy Echo lets you play him out of your deck. So usually having the Echo for Oneiromancy round 3 is really good. You want to try and have that. But the deck thins a ton, so you shouldn't have too much trouble just drawing into it anyway. But say you're round 3, you can get your Asira, it's nice to have the Oneiromancy. We have our Frenzied Dow here, so he's here to play both Rock Barrages. You always want to play two Rock Barrages with this guy, in this deck at least. So he just plays, and he does that 8 damage removal. As you can see, we have a lot of damage in this deck, so removing stuff's not too bad. And it's a decent play, 13 points. And you the one thing with this deck is you want to use him early, rather than later, because you do want to thin out your deck for your Asira to shuffle stuff back in. You want to thin it out so you can get all your gold cards, but you don't have to slam him early, but it's not like you're saving him for a finish or anything. And the Golem we already talked about, you want to play him first, probably, or Living Armor. They're playing 2 Nozick Sergeants. They did just get nerfed, but we'll talk about why we're playing them later. but we need something with Point Slam, so they're the Point Slam for later in the game. Then we have 2 Assassinations. I mentioned the Rock Barrages already. We are playing 1 Coded Weapons. I was playing a Tourney Joust, 2 Tourney Jousts, and a Coded Weapons, but we had a spare provision, so I decided to go Coded Weapons over a Tourney Joust. It's whatever. You can play 2 Tourney Jousts, 1 Coded Weapons. I just didn't like having a spare provision in the deck. I was playing the deck with 1 extra provision, though. But we went and buffed that up to a Coded Weapons for now. The Coded Weapons is also kind of nice in certain decks. Fallen Knights, for example, sure they got Fallen Knight back, but if you just banish theirs round 1, I just mentioned them because I still see a lot of Fallen Knight decks, they can't play Cyrus round 1 or round 2 very easily. Then with the 2 Magni divisions, you only have the 4 tactics, the Assassinations, Weapons, and Tourney Joust, but it's good enough to thin your deck, so you want to be careful. You want to make sure you can at least play a couple of these with the Magni divisions. They're just in here to thin the deck more. And then we have the 2 Hunting Packs. There's no way for us to really give things status, but it doesn't matter. Like, there's enough things playing tokens, there's enough things playing Veil cards that this pretty much always goes off. Then we have the 2 Mage Assassins, so you always want both the Mage Assassins to go off the Tactical Decision. If it means you're going to lose the game, you can just do the Tactical Decision with one of them, but it feels bad. You want to try and get both of them with it, so we have no secondary way to trigger them like you might in, say, Hyperthin. But that is the deck. Overall, it has a lot of control, and it has some really strong gold cards finishing with like Erendite and stuff. The only thing that I've noticed really to watch out for this deck is that you can usually kill off enough engines, not really worry about engine decks, but the problem usually comes in against control decks or decks that don't play stuff. Round 3, we have a ton of things based on damage, right? You have Colossal, you might have an Enraged Ifrit, you might have an Erendite, might have saved your Heat Wave. So it's kind of hard to get proactive points in the late game, I've found with this deck, is the only thing, which is why I added the Nausicaas. But that's the only thing to be careful of. If you're playing too many of your point slammy cards early, and the opponent doesn't play anything big round 3, a lot of your value is in that control, so just be a little mindful of that. That's another case why you might want to save the Primordial, for example. But nothing too bad there. It's still a good deck. Let's go try it out. I've had a lot of fun with this, and let's see what we can do. Precision Strike Control. So this is me. Well, if it's Renfri, that might have some point plays later. But like I was talking about in the profile, this is one of those decks where you have to be mindful of keeping our point slam type cards round 3, because he is just going to be playing a ton of control. That being said, right now we have our cards right here. We're not going to use the Nausicaas round 1, and we thin our deck a ton, so we are going to see them again if we put them back. Pretty much guaranteed. This hand is lacking in constructs, which is problematic. The other thing is, like I said, we don't have too many proactive plays here, which is unfortunate. The one really nice thing about Tourney Joust is you can go Magni Division and then Tourney Joust your own guy for value, which is one of the reasons I really like it. But for now, we don't have it. Like, we only have the one. That's the one consideration where I really liked it, because we don't have too many proactive plays. Other than our Living Armor, Imperial Golem, and such. But we don't have any of those. Considering we don't have those, we probably need to leader round 1, because he's going to point slam. He's just going to slam his leader on us and play Renfri. And that's going to be his round 1 pressure, so we should probably have to match that. The good thing with us here is if he does do that, we want to go Snowdrop leader and find our constructs. So let's see if that is how this plays out or not. Oh, no token. We could take some assassination value on this. It's not great value, but we'll take it. If you made the tokens, we could have played Hunting Pack, which would have been nice. Let's see, we could go... Man, we're really short on cards here. Like, cards that we want to play. I think we do play this here. We can shuffle him back round 2, because it doesn't look like we're going to play any other constructs here. And just denying that engine's pretty good. I do want him to kind of shove his leader here. He's not going to. Not yet, at least. Still no statuses. These assassinations, they're not going to get removal value against his deck. He's not really playing engines. Like, maybe we can hit a Zoltan later, but it'll probably be between units. so it won't get enough damage. I really wish he wasn't just playing bronzes here. Alright, one thing we can do is we can just pass. Like, that is an option. If we just pass, what's he do? Probably opens Squirrel, banishes our construct. We feel bad, but it's not the end of the world. The bad thing would be if he opened with Squirrel. The other bad thing is he's playing Waylays instead of Renfri. A lot of golds left. I think we do take the Bass here. We're not scared of his engines, or we have points. We can slave the leader then for point slam round 2 if he wants to push. But we don't want to... I don't know. It's kind of not a great situation here. It's also not bad. Like, I think this is pretty even. I don't really mind going to round 2 here. The only thing we do a little bit mind is we haven't thinned much yet, which is unfortunate. But there's some of the cards we want to play. Definitely want to get that back in our deck. And that one. Now we've got some constructs going on. Pretty nice. Unfortunately, we don't have our Erendite yet. Or our Oneiromancy. We go Renfri's gang, so I think we shuffle back first here. It does give up a turn on our Erendite. I don't want this getting banished by random Squirrel, which he'd probably play next if he has it. If he does pass, we should be able to get out of here with Imperial Golem. Alright, since he's shoving that, not really shoving, so he's going to keep pushing here. I think we do the Snowdrop and get our card advantage. We do have both Mage Assassins in our hands, so we'll do the tactical decision first. Some pretty nice cards there. I want to shuffle this back in instead of having it on top, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to draw 2 here anyway. Does he have a token? If he goes for the Zoltan, it'll have the Infused on it, so it might be worth keeping the Hunting Pack still. And he might just pass after getting that out of us, which he will. So we're not too mad here. We just want to see the Oneiromancy more than anything else. We want to see the constructs, Erendite Oneiromancy. We are kind of missing a lot of cards here. But we are also have thinned our deck pretty well at this point. This does draw us a card. So unfortunately we don't have Oneiromancy. We'll put this back, because if we drew it, wouldn't be amazing. So if we go Primordial Dow, not Primordial, if we go Frenzy, we can play these 2. And there's a 60% chance we draw something really good off of Magni. That's a consideration. Let's start off with the Nausicaas. We haven't seen anything yet. No dragons. Could still be dragons. We have some big tall punish here. Like, we got the Heat Wave. We've got an Erendite that's decently valued. We can play into this. We know it's Renfri. To watch out for what? Geralt's. We have to watch out for whatever his gold package is. It's probably going to be Zoltan and such. Yep. So what we want to do here is probably go second Nausicaa. Just make his leader annoying to deal with. He also didn't thin his deck out, by the way. He still has those 2 Broccolon Sentinels somewhere. Do we care about this enough to kill it? No, because we want to do this first before this. Which means for now, I think we should play the other Nausicaa Sergeant. Let's make his damage suboptimal if he wants to play something like the Zoltan Warrior. Probably going to end up playing Primordial. I keep calling this guy Primordial. Frenzied Dow for value rather than actual removal. Which means we want him to have 2 units. We could remove that. Is that worth it? It denies 3 damage, so yeah, that's worth it. Could go this into this. Let's do it. Let's get those out of our deck so we open up the option of our Maggie Division play. Obviously the best thing here for us is if he actually drew one of the Brokilon Sentinels. He probably didn't, though. Alright, there's the Zoltan. Eudora, we've got, what do we have on this? 2. So not enough damage on this yet. It's gained an extra armor there. I still think it's worth hitting that with Magni Division and see, hopefully we draw into one of the other constructs. Nice. Like, there's a 60% chance our draw was good there. All that, or that were all good. You can't rearmor this, so it should be offline now. We're just going to try and build up to a big Colossal Ifrit. We do have Last Say as well. So depending on if he places Geralt early or not, it might be worth holding on to maybe like the Living Armor, maybe the Imperial Golem. I don't think so, though. We just got to play around the Igni a little bit. Also, it can always just go for Erendite last, too. It will be pretty large. But if he goes for his leader, we'll have to do something tempo-y. Obviously, there's also still the Renfri to deal with, but we have a lot of gold cards here. We want to play these constructs out, because if we can get a reset on this, it's amazing. Obviously, we're never going to get a reset on it. We're just saying that. Let's do this and just scout if Renfri is still in this deck, I guess. You should have the Sentinels. Let's say. You should have the Sentinels, which we want to play this before he gets those, because there are 2/2s in his deck, which means the Golem has a pretty good chance of being tall. And actually playing 11 for 6 is nice. That's really good. He's playing Unicorn Chiron Axe. That makes sense. He's going to go for the leader here. We do want to keep the Erendite boosting. He's got 1 in his hand. You'll love to see it. So we could go for Colossal here. It does 4. That would do 12 damage across these, which would be pretty nice. But we could also go for a more high rolly. Just go up to the Enraged one. Doesn't have good value at the moment, though. Just thinking, because if we do this, we do 11, right? Because you get 1 armor. 11 plus this is 5 is 16. That's 33. We don't pull ahead. I'm trying to think of the Erendite boost. If we do this, there's a potential he can't answer it now they used his leader, though. Yes, let's play it. There's a potential that he can't answer this. Very small potential. Probably is like a lock still. But if he doesn't kill it, maybe we've got a shot here. Like a shot of it resetting. This will help us get the tempo we need to get the Erendite boosting once more. Plays anything until we blast it with this. His best play is probably Geralt on this. We drop Living Armor after. I don't necessarily think we're going to get back ahead. We know he has a Brokilon Sentinel in his hand. I think his position's better here at the moment, but we have some options. So, obviously, we can't let this combo go off. However, the really good thing for us here... it's not good. If we I'm going to say the Erendite boosts it. The Erendite boosts it into 9, which means they'll get hit by Igni. Or not Igni, by regular Geralt. But if we don't do it, we still do it. We still do it. That should take his Geralt now. Like, he should have to Geralt it. And we know he's playing a Geralt. Like, every Renfri deck plays one, pretty much. Oh, it's not here yet. I have scores to settle. 6 damage, okay. And it's at the lowest of 10. That's nice, because we'll get value on the Seat Wave that we otherwise wouldn't. This is doing 9. I think we do play the Living Armor. I don't see a way for him. He's got 2 cards. One's probably Geralt. One's Brokilon Sentinel. I don't see a way the Sentinel could set up an Igni if we do this Living Armor here. Let's play Living Armor. These are our high value ones. So once he does the set to 10, we Heat Wave that one. Potentially hit something with this. The Enraged one's not going to get too much value here, but He does have that Broccolon Sentinel in his hand. Oh, and he has the Morelga, so no Geralt. He has to do the 6 damage. So we have the Heat Wave, and we have this. It doesn't matter which way we do it in. The ordering doesn't matter here. Let me just play this and do the 10 now. We should win here, because we know he has that Broccolon Sentinel. If that wasn't a Sentinel, we'd be a lot worse spot, obviously. We'd get a barely win. Renfri is super strong. This plays for 4, then we get 5 from a Heat Wave. Like I said, the control here is not... He just leaves. Our control doesn't get a lot of value in matches like this, which I kind of talked about a lot in the deck profile. So you can kind of see that in action here. We really wanted those point slammy cards, which we had the Primordial Dow round 3, but the Nausicaa's were really key there. Massive 82. Patricidal Fury doesn't tell us too much. Hunting pack we want to use. We want Magni Divisions. Actually, the assassination could be, or the coated weapons could be pretty good. Highland Warlord. No surprise there. But like I said, we could coded weapons this, but then he gets another one, so we don't want to do that. We also have the option of heat waving this, so we can't bring it back, which would deny him 1 value in all of his raids. Problem with that is... Actually, I don't see a problem with that. We have so much control that it would be okay. We don't really need the tall punish for... Like, we have to kill a tier, and if we get last sight, we have to kill something else. So I think we just don't kill it. Like, we want to play a construct early, but I don't want a Neuromancy one. We're going to buff up our own guy here. Since his raids do damage, this will be annoying. I want to play something that gets us ahead without, like, playing one of these constructs, obviously. This draw is really nice. We should be able to just beat him round 1, because we'll get to use the hunting pack when he uses his stratagem. Surprised he hasn't used it yet. There we go. Drawing this opens it up to, we have a reasonable, like 35-ish% chance of drawing into the second Mage Assassin if we go for the Snowdrop play. I don't think we need to, though. Since we essentially know his deck's a Devotion deck, it's pretty safe to play, like, say this early or this early, and then just Asira it back in. We do want to get... I think we want to play the... I think we want to pull the Rock Barrages. We do want to play a Construct here. I think we owe Neuromancy a Construct. Let's go with Living Armor. The Imperial Golem is really risky because of Tyr in his deck and Great Swords. So I don't really want to play Imperial Golem on a turn where we want to get ahead for Erendite. Like we open with it round 2 or something. There's the Blood Eagle. What's he getting? Ah, the second Highland Warlord. I'm shocked.
Come on, show us what you got.
I do want to play this. I think we do it right now. Kind of wanted to Coated Weapons this, but I don't think it's worth it because he'll just pick Uncrate War Crier or something. We're sort of running out of plays we want to make, which is unfortunate. I think the Enraged isn't too bad to play early, as the only thing that really matters if we can hit like a
What is it?
that gives us a nice play here. Not enough tempo to get out of the Coated Weapons. Give him another one of those. That's probably the worst one we've seen so far. He does not want to draw that again. He should be really low on tempo. These Raid Warrior decks, like, it's how they function, right? They play veteran cards. Veteran cards get stronger the more rounds go by. He's playing setup cards for his damage. The damage cards get stronger the more Highland Warlords they've played. So the round one is generally pretty weak, and most of them will just accept that and pass. Hopefully he can do that right on even here, and he does. Which means round two is like usual here against these decks. You want to force out the Tier if you can, force out the Sove. Those are the big plays we can't deal with round three. Well, not can't deal with, but don't want to deal with. And we'd like to see a Snowdrop. Alright, to be honest, his hand is quite good. It's really good, but we should redraw for the Snowdrop. Can't justify it, though. This hand's already too good. Can't justify it. Question is, what do we want to do with the Asira? One thing we could do is just put back, like, Living Armor or something. Or we're going to put back one of these. We don't have a good opening play. Honestly, you might just want to put back one of his Highland Warlords. He's going to plan on reviving them both. He could draw them again then. Could Blood Eagle it out of his deck if we put it back. We'll just take the low value, put Living Armor back. It's not ideal, but like I said, we don't have too many good opening plays with this deck. Really wanted to get that Imperial Golem. And we want to go into the Snowdrop once he plays a unit. I don't think he's just going to hit us with like a Gutting Slash or something here. If he does, that will be annoying. We'll just do the Snowdrop play without the Mage Assassins doing their damage. It's not the biggest loss. It's 4 points, which feels kind of bad, but it's much better than playing some of these cards. But the Asira we don't really mind, because I don't think we're going to... I think we're just going to hold these. So we'll do that now. Grab the Snowdrop. I think we'll spread out a little bit. Or not spread out, we'll play into one row here. Boom, boom. This is good with this. This is actually really nice with this. So we want to keep this pair if we can. I actually think then we put back Primordial.
Truly electrifying.
Like, we're going to see all these cards again. So we're thinning another card here. I considered putting one of these back, but I think we want to try and potentially use them here for this round. We should at least force the Sove, and considering we're on even, that's really nice. I kind of want to set it up where we can go tempo with Answer the Tier with this. Here comes the first Highland Warlord coming back. It's kind of nice whenever you get the Herald not round 3 because it just loses the ping damage. Honestly, probably the least useful card here, but the Magni Division extra 2 points on Snowdrop, can't really turn that down. Probably have to force Sove Champion's Charge here, which is good. Should be Sove on probably Squirrel, I would guess. Or on Savage Bear. It's whatever one of the 4 provisions ones he's playing is. Now he's actually not that far ahead here still. I think the Erendite makes sense. He's not going to have a way to punish it. And it potentially sets up a bigger Colossal Ifrit. So I like that. We also have the option of bricking Champion's Charge by... Actually, this doesn't do us anything, right? We make the Champion's Charge weaker if he pings one of these doesn't go off. We can't actually brick it because we can't use the battle prep because we haven't lost yet. This is going pretty well. We just want to get rid of the Sove, or not the Sove. We want to get rid of the Tier if we can, and we're in a really good spot here. Got some decent plays left. This isn't amazing, but we can always hit this front row if we need to.
Corpses? Nay,
he didn't use the order. I think we just punished the no order by playing this. I don't think we'll get too much value out of this later on, just because what's it going to hit, right? Like the Tier we have a Heat Wave for, and we've got Colossal. I don't think anything's really worth killing other than Tier, and then maybe a Tall Punish on whatever Tier puts back. But if we can force the Tier out here instead, that would be really nice. Obviously, we also could like hit the Greatsword or something else, but he hasn't played a Greatsword. It's probably just bringing back probably this, I guess. Round 3, he might not have enough units in a row for Colossal to take effect of, so he might play this here too, in all honesty. Might not be bad, because it's going to be kind of hard for him to get a bunch of units in a row. I guess he could Fukusha into something. He hasn't played any of the raids yet, which is interesting. Oh, he's playing Heart of Terror. That will get him the round, so we're not going to keep playing into that. It's too much value. I mean, we could keep playing into it, but I don't know if we want to. Play this. I think we just save it. Well, let's bring this back, right? What do we have? We have like this, this, this. We'll have our ideal here is we'll get to pick our ideal. We'll have double Nausicaa, Primordial, Living Armor, and this hand. Do we think that beats his round 3 hand? I don't know that it does. But I think we go for it. I don't think playing these here helps us too much. Obviously, it's just going to open with... we have Erendite as well, right? We'll have Erendite plus 2 of those 3 cards. So we just open, killing the Tier, I guess. Doesn't feel good. We have to use this on it, then save the Heat Wave. I think that's the best thing we can hope for, really. Imperial Golem's not great because he's going to have some Tull cards in his deck, especially with Veteran. So I think we keep these. The Imperial Golem's kind of nice because it does boost up our... And so would Living Armor boost this up. As it is, it's only going to be at 5. But I think I'd rather just have the stuff here with the armor. The armor's going to be pretty useful, actually. These are actually worth more than the Living Armor. If this damage isn't hitting things. Which it might not, to be fair. Alright, where's the Tier? We gotta see it. I mean, there's always a chance he didn't draw a Tier, which would be amazing. So what's he gonna pick? This would be a 16, this would be a 16. Which means that if this goes all the way to cap, it would be able to kill it with an extra point. Just debating if we're losing the damage on the Tier from this is okay. I think it would be trading about evenly. We have to Tall Punish the thing he brings back anyway. Yep, so I think it's fine just to kill that with the Erendite. I think it's fine just to Erendite this. If we Heat Wave it, we're not getting the full Erendite value anyway to kill this. We're Heat Waving that anyway. So it's like the extra points we would get from the overkill don't matter because we would need those extra points to throw damage into his other card.
Resist the Jarl's will, and that's how we'll end you.
Nausicaa should be good here because he probably has like Primal Savageries, which he won't be able to use. If we brick those, the game is over pretty much. We Heat Wave that. Let's do it right now. Like if he has Primal Savageries, they are not going to do anything. This has a shield and it's 9. This has armor and it's 9. They're not going to do anything. He has to hit this first. That will set it up into Primal Savagery range. Oh no, it won't.
You're
The Savagery's got the same base damage as War of Clans, so it'll also do 5. If he had Primal Savagery there, he needed to play Hunter. Spread out because of Fukusha. Primal Savagery's at 5. It can't kill anything. If he goes Fukusha into something, he's got a Primal Savagery hit on this, which would be good for him. We do have this finisher still. I think we would end up in a winning position. So Blood Eagle can't go into Primal Savagery. Hopefully this ping pings this. That'd make us feel really happy. Ah, he can Primal Savagery then. But that's still okay. This should be enough to win, even if this is Primal Savagery and he gets the value off of it. And it was. Like, if he misses that ping and kills this, we just instantly win. We still win, because this is going to be amazing. But it's not as funny. So I'll show you the value of the Colossal Ifrit, though. Boom. 20-point play. Undo 0204, I suppose.
I shall not repeat Emir's mistakes.
Playing some Commander. I considered getting that skin like this morning. I don't know why. I just looked at the shop for some reason this morning. See if there are any like cosmetics we didn't have that didn't cost real money. I think that one's just meteorite powder. I mean, let's put these back. Oh, drawn to 2 Mage Assassins feels really good. No Snowdrop does not. So this is almost certainly a Renfri deck. Renfri Imprisonment. Although it can always be like Status Nilfgaard, but they tend to just play Imposter. It's probably just like a Renfri mid-range deck. To be fair, we're also kind of... Well, we have a lot of control, so... Not ideal here. I think he'll have more value because of his plays with Triss. So I think we have to force Triss Meteor Shower to win. I think to win the game, we have to force Triss Meteor Shower like round 1 or 2. We can't let him have a Renfri round with Meteor Shower round 3. Oh, never mind. He's playing Cultists.
Nilfgaard's iron might.
Well, we have a Heat Wave. But I don't have a Purify. So this is a case where we can't answer the scenario. Like, we can't answer it. Let's go Golem. Alright, so we know he's going to do the Operator shenanigans. Probably. So he just plays scenario here. We can't kill it. He plays a unit next turn. He triggers it. I mean, this is just a case where we can't stop what he's going to do. Oh, he's being slow about it. In that case, we can stop it. Because we have options for damage. We can do 8 with our one guy. Go Neuromancy to Frenzied. That would make him maybe make him nervous though, and he might not go for it. We have to play this a little slower. Go Magni into Assassination. Let's do that. We do want to see what we draw. He's still safe here. We need him to not play the scenario this turn for the free win. But he's going to play it. Like, he has to play it now, or else he's just being too risky. He's just being too risky. We have the Heat Wave now. Alright, well, there's nothing else to do. We've played the one construct. Kill the defender. And now I can Heat Wave his scenario, unless he's playing Renew. And no one plays Renew on this. And we are holding the Heat Wave, so this should be game winning. He was so slow about this. Why wait? You have, like, sure, you get more value on this order, but now the game's over. Right? Like, I guess you can use Initiates. The Initiates can still win, but why wait on the scenario? I mean, that's a Cultist game. I'm leaving that one in, because that's just how Cultist games go. Undead again, the Unbroken, playing some Carapace. Now, I have seen a large amount of every Carapace deck being some kind of Witch's Sabbath deck, but it can always be Ogroids, can always be Relics, so we have to keep that in mind. I do like... I think I prefer... What do I prefer here? Actually, coated weapons I think I prefer. Because of Witch's Sabbath and such. We have a potential to scout his deck with this golem. We also just like hit some like King Trum and die. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's called skill, guys. That's called skill. We hit an Osrail. So it's going to be probably Ogroids then. Skill. Cave Troll. Hey, there he is. So, we have a Heat Wave as an option. We have setting up damage into killing it to Heat Wave whatever's behind it option. It's probably setting up to protect a King Trum. In that case, I do definitely want to kill it. But we have a little time. We could go with our Hunting Pack, but I'm not concerned. He has Carapace. What do we want to do here? I think we want to play the Frenzied Dow. Oh, how do you play this range? It's not Cultists if this is ranged. Play the Frenzied anyway. And I'll kill this with a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously we can coated weapons it, but that doesn't really help too much. Okay, he's gonna do that. We just kill it with the Enraged. Feel pretty good about this. I think he's just trying to protect the King Trum, so he won't care too much, but we can now Heat Wave the King Trum, which is pretty important here, actually. That is annoying. That's annoying. Like, this is a lot of engine value, obviously. A lot of value. I think we can just play the Primordial, though. But having tall cards to match his is kind of nice for later. No, we just play this. Like, we don't have another good card. We up by 34 or 35. He should pass. If he keeps playing, it's because he wants to end with King Trum. So what is that going to be at? Is it killable? At 1, so he just gets it. Now here's the question. If he goes King Trum, he gets the Resilience, but he doesn't win on... Right, because he's down 21. So it would have to be a 17 point... Right, 21. Just trying to think of how much he'd have to win by. I think we just play the Magni here. I don't want to have the King Trum into win the round option. He's still going to have it, I think, but he needs to set up another Might for range throw still. And I think that Might setup will be pretty costly in terms of provisions. And if he does just play another one of these and leader it, we'll play the Hunting Pack. These Neckers are pretty annoying. If we had Snowdrop, we'd leader here. I don't think we'd leader. We need that tempo for later. There's a Goliath. So there is that setup still if he wants to. For King Trum. I don't think there's a way to play around it. I think he's just going to do it. And obviously he wouldn't play the Cave Troll if he didn't have it. So we just give it to him. He's going to King Trum win the round with it, but we're just going to have to Heat Wave it round 2 or something. Yeah. 23 points on it, by the way. I mean, we 100% knew that was coming, but it is what it is. We denied the Osrail too by Heat Waving it. That means it's not Renfri, because Renfri, you would play 2 Renfri's gang at the very least. See, Nausicaa's pretty good here then. I want to see the Snowdrop. Or the other Mage Assassin. So our Erendite's going to be pretty bad this game, just because how this game's working out against Ogroids. We do have Magni Division Relics, so that's pretty unfortunate too. A lot of this is just going pretty badly. Because we don't really want to match up against decks like this that have insane point slam. Next round, our next play I think has to be Snowdrop. Especially if he plays a card. Yeah, and there's the card. So our big problem here is that we don't have any insane point plays outside of Leader and outside of Colossal. But I don't want to play Colossal because we really do need that round 3. So that's Snowdrop. Really want to be finding the second Mage Assassin here. Didn't get it yet. We just have to do it. We can't wait. There he is. Love to see it. And we could go... if we put a Nausicaa on top, we draw into it with Magni, which is pretty good consideration. Puts us ahead. Denies him Might as well. We're ahead, because he only gets 1 point now. This is pretty solid, but he's going to have other big plays. And the other thing to consider here is we don't have the Erendite anymore, right? We use the Echo, so we want to Asira this round still on the Enraged, pretty sure. Could do it here. Doesn't have Might yet. Could just hit 2-go, like this into 2-go, this into this, hit 2-go. The other thing we could do is go with the Asira. We can always offensively Asira him too, though, for the Azrael. So I think I like this a little bit better. It also gives us 2 points on the Snowdrop still, right, because we're drawing. That's why it puts us ahead. Also puts 2-go in range of Colossal if we really need to. Well, it doesn't really, because we can boost himself by 1, but, you know, you can pretend it does. We got what Nausicaa's are 9s. Spear Tip. We're going to have to play Colossal Ifrit here. There's no way around it. There just isn't a way around it. Feels bad. We have to do it now, so if he doesn't Erendite it, it can possibly recharge its cooldown. It won't, but I have to hope for it. This is not a good matchup. Okay, there's a Riptide. That plays into... Ooh, Snowdrop. Doesn't take it. Interesting. We have an Asira turn here, which is amazing. I didn't think we'd get that. Put him back in there. I considered the Heat Wave, but I think this is more consistently sure to be good, because the Azrael's not huge, right? The biggest thing is on Spear Tip, so it'd be a 13 Azrael, which means that this would be better than the Heat Wave. Alright, there's the Jotun. Does that get him the win? It might. Well, it's not going to give him the win, because we have the recharge on Colossal, but will they make us play both Nausicaa's? Alright, Colossal, you know what? Blow him out some more. Boom. That was pretty fun. I really like clicking the big Colossal Ifrit orders. The issue here is going to be proactive cards. He's going to answer Living Armor, and then we have Erendite and Enraged Ifrit, which both need him to have units. That's going to be our issue. So really the best case for us is if he doesn't answer the Living Armor right away. That would be best. Like maybe we play Living Armor and he just goes with an Engine or Azrael or something. But if he just kills this, we're in a lot of trouble. So we have to play this into nothing and hope he doesn't kill it. Alright, that's perfect. We can go Erendite or we can go Enraged. I think we go Erendite's a safe one. Has he played Heatwave yet, though? He has not. He's not played a Heatwave yet. That means if we boost this by like 7, we lose 17 to the Heatwave. Which means Enraged Ifrit is the choice here. Even though it feels bad for wasting that much damage. We can't play into a big Heatwave like that. He's playing 2 non-neutrals. I guess, is there Erendite and Oneiromancy? But that's not guaranteed. That should do it, right? He's not getting 24. Nice. Man, that was a hard game. That was a very hard game, but we did pull it out in the end. So, love to see it. And, yeah, GG. All right, so that's the deck, guys. Actually, it went really well. We won all of our games today. So that was pretty fun. And let's be honest here, I did not win all my games. So this is a deck I spent a lot more time trying to perfect before showing you guys. This one I played maybe like 15 games with before making this video, but I was trying out a bunch of stuff. And what I realized is that it's really the Nautica's, right? Like the lack of point slam cards is what was costing me the games, right? We had like a, I don't know, what did we win? I think we went like 5-5, and then I added in the Nautica's and made some changes, and now it's doing much better. So I really think it's the not having point slam round 3s that really hurts the deck. So this was really a key addition, I think. Now there are other options for point slam stuff, but they're not great, to be honest. Like I think considered renewing Primordial Dow, but that was a little bit out there. It'd be funny though. Did consider it. Also considered Anna Henrietta just to get leader value off of something, but I like this better. So for the deck, for card options changes, overall, I think this is a really fun deck to play. I also think it's kind of hard to play. For me at least, I have a lot of trouble with this one. I think I find this deck pretty tricky because you have to weigh the value of playing your constructs early and buffing up the other ones, getting Erendite going, versus which ones you want to save for later, which ones you need in certain matchups, like maybe, for example, the Ogroid one, Colossal Ifrit just destroyed because they don't have control. But in some other matchups, maybe you need Enraged because you need the extra damage to kill like a tier, and then you need the Heat Wave to kill a thing tier brought back. So stuff like that, I think, is kind of interesting. Makes for interesting choices. Or like against a control deck, you want to save Primordial Dow for last because you just need the point slam cards. So I think that's really interesting, actually. I think this deck's pretty fun. I actually really enjoyed this one. This might be the most fun I've had playing Nilfgaard in a while. But I really enjoyed it. But as far as the options we could change here, I think Oneiromancy you need. I think Heat Wave you probably need. I wouldn't kick this out. Even despite all the control, I think this is required for stuff like... we had a Cultist game today, which is like 30 seconds long, because they did something stupid and were greedy. But if we don't have the Heat Wave, it goes differently, right? We can still kill all the initiates off, and it might be okay, but need it. Erendite is one that's kind of up to you. I think this is a really good candidate for an Erendite deck because you want to play golds early. Like in decks where you don't want to play golds early, you have high tempo openers, like Ogroids has a high tempo opener. It's really good to have Erendite. It just gets really strong. We want to play golds early, and we have some high tempo openers potentially, mostly through the golds. So it's pretty nice, I think, having it. But you can cut it if you want to fit something else instead. I think that one's optional. Then we have the Living Armor, Colossal, Enraged, Primordial Dow, the whole construct package. We're playing all of them. I think if you want to cut some for something else, I think the ones to cut are Living Armor and Imperial Golem. I think Imperial Golem is okay depending on the matchup to just play. Like you saw, well, you saw us get some skill-based gameplay against Ogroids and hit an Osrel. That was something. That was some funny stuff. But yeah, against like decks that play little things, like against the Precision Strike Renfri deck, we knew this would be a pretty big Imperial Golem, so we had that for later, and it's good. But in some matches, it's really bad. So I think the Imperial Golem is perfectly cuttable if you want something else instead. The other one's Living Armor. Living Armor is just like a 10 for 10. That's not particularly good, but it gives you 1 extra point on Enraged, 1 extra on Primordial, and 3 extra on Colossal. So it's really giving you about 15 for 10 if the Colossal hits 3 things. That's okay. It's not too bad. It's not too good. So I think this one's you can cut it. It's not a problem. But those are the ones I consider cutting. As for the rest of the deck, Snowdrop, I would highly play Snowdrop whenever you're playing Tactical Decision. You don't have to. You can play it without it. I just really like it. And the additional bonus of Magni Divisions, getting 2 extra points every now and then, is pretty nice. Asira you definitely want, because you want to replay the big construct, especially Enraged. I tend to use Asira on Enraged a lot, because I want to what usually ends up happening is round 1, there's something I want to kill, so I hit it with Enraged Ifrit, and then I just put it back in my deck for a value play round 3. That's usually what I target. But sometimes you want to play Colossal round 2, or you're forced to or something. And then for the rest of the deck, I think the only other changes, like the Nausicaa's you can cut. One thing I've been thinking about is our good old friend here. We can sort by names here. Is a Colgrim is one thing I've been thinking. So the deck thins a lot. So we've got 2 Mage Assassins, a Hunting Pack, that's 3. Magni Divisions, 4, 5 thins. And then we've got 2 Rock Barrages, 6, 7. So that's 7 thinning. Oneiromancy technically is 8 if you use it twice. Erendite is -1 because it goes back in your deck. We're back to 7. And then Asira puts one back in your deck, back to 6. So it thins a lot, but you don't thin to 0 and you're putting stuff back in. And sometimes you don't always get that many thins. Like you don't draw the Oneiromancy to round 3. It doesn't actually thin your deck a card. Well, it does thin your deck a card. But you know what I'm saying. Like you play it round 2 and it comes back for the Echo. And you have the Echo round 3. Your deck size hasn't really changed. So I don't think Colgrim fits at the moment, but I think there is a way to make Colgrim in this deck. And that would help a lot with the round 3 point slam problems we're having, except it all goes on one card and we can't play Defender in this necessarily. Although Defender could be a consideration. I could definitely see a cutting Living Armor and Imperial Golem and then fitting Colgrim Defender. Like I could see that as an option that might be actually really good. We didn't want another thinning in the deck, but you could fit it. Like you could cut Nausicaa's, that gets you 4 provisions, put in Knickers. Like I can see a world where Defender and Colgrim fits. And I wanted to try it out, but I didn't think it'd be quite what I wanted to do. I just want to show a construct deck here. Maybe we'll work on that and see if there's a way to make it feel good. I just felt it was fitting too many things into one deck, but maybe it's all right. But that is the deck, guys. I think the bronzes are just kind of whatever. Mage Assassins, yes. Hunting Packs, yes. Like the barrages, sure. And then it's just whatever tactics you want. I actually considered, since we have so much control, this is one thing I want to mention. Since there's so much control, I think it might be worth considering, instead of Assassination, Tourney Joust, Code of Weapons package, I think it might actually just be worth it to play the Imperial Diplomacy and Experimental Remedies. So many decks these days, it seems, want to base their deck around bronzes, right? You've got Highland Warlord Raids, we played that today. You've got the Firesworn decks, they want to bring back their Fallen Knights. You've got, what's the other one? Self-Wound, even. Like their bronzes are just good. Like some decks just play good bronzes. And Nilfgaard, like the Nilfgaard Mirror Match, there's so many good things to bring back. So I almost think Remedy is worth a consideration. Like Remedy and Diplomacy, I think, are worth considerations because of the amount of damage in the deck. If you find that you are over damaging the enemy, too much control, I think these are potentials. I don't think the Remedy, I don't think is as good, but I think it's a consideration. And then Diplomacy is just a pretty good card. So if you think you have too much control, these are options to consider. Which is surprising that I'm actually considering playing Experimental Remedy and something that's not like janky. But whatever. Anyway, guys, that was the deck. Hopefully you had a lot of fun. I went a little more in depth here talking about the options at the end. But it really is kind of important that there isn't a lot of point slam finishers, which is why we're running the Nausicaa's. But if you find the other point slam finisher you want, say you cut, or I keep talking here, you could cut like something for Triss Meteor Shower, but you don't have too many units is the thing, right? So, I don't know. I almost want to make this a Shoop deck, but there's so many doubles that are like too good to cut. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed. I almost played Usurper Officer, but saving him for a status deck. That's been requested for a bit now. But yeah, there's a lot of choices, which is kind of cool. Anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. This was a fun one for sure. Really glad to see constructs actually just destroying opponents. Like, I had some medium success with the deck, and then I went in for the Nausicaa version with more point slam, less control, and it just won everything in a row, which is kind of fun. I don't think it's a top tier deck, but I think it's certainly worth considering as a Nilfgaard deck. But for real now, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. I had a lot of fun with this. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.